All right, so lesson 39. Today we're going to finish lesson 39. So let's get started here. And we're going to do a quick review. In the first part of lesson 39, we saw these modal verbs: would, could, should, must, might, may, might. So these have different functions, but basically they are to express a duty ou dever, expressar dever, habilidade ou possibilidade. So would, we saw in lesson 5 for the first time. We saw would in lesson 5. So I would like to go shopping with you. Eu gostaria de ir fazer compras com você. Or possibility. And this is if where we have an if clause. Eu só iria se. No, I would only eat. Eu só comeria se você estivesse aqui. So we also use would in those kinds of what we call if clause. If one thing, I would do this if this, or if this, I would do this. So if it rained, or if it rains, even we can use it in the present. If it rains, I will not leave. If it rains, I won't leave. So we can use if clauses that way as well. I could help you with that. Then could, poderia. Eu poderia te ajudar com isso. Possibility or ability. In the past, could you run like that? So the thing to remember with can and could is that it can be either possibility, ability, or permission. So I couldn't go. My mom didn't let me. Eu não pude ir, minha mãe não me deixou. So could we have could that is poderia. We have could that is pode, pude in the past. And we have could that is podia. So we have all of these three represented by could, and should then is dever. I should help you with that. Eu deveria. So should is represented by devia, deveria, and deve. You shouldn't be here. Você não deveria estar aqui. Ou você não deve estar aqui. Ou não devia, no caso. I must help you with that. So the difference between should is deveria, right? But I say obligation with should is probably 80% obligation. You should eat healthy. But if you don't, okay, maybe there's no problem. But if your doctor says you must eat healthy, that's 100% obligation. If you don't, if I use must and you don't do it, bicho vai pegar. De alguma forma, something bad is going to happen. So if your doctor says you must eat healthy, then you probably have a problem and you could die, maybe, if you don't eat healthy. You could have a heart attack or something like that. So I must help you with that. Eu tenho que, so must gives that idea of ter que, have to, is 100% obligation. So if we use have to, the difference between have to and must is that have to is less formal in American English and must is more formal. So you must go or you have to go. They both have 100% obligation. You must go to work. You have to go to work. You don't have a choice. That's the main thing with must and have to is that you don't have a choice. There's no choice. You have to. I may help you with that if I have time later. So it's a possibility. So possivelmente ou talvez. Eu vou possivelmente te ajudar com isso. Or talvez eu te ajude com isso. Ajude com isso. You may not arrive on time. É possível, ou possivelmente você não chegue na hora. ou em tempo. Okay, so you may not arrive on time. And then might is also possibility. You might be wrong. Você pode ser errado ou possivelmente estar errado. Ou talvez você seja errado. I might arrive on time. É possível que eu chegue a tempo. And the difference in American English between may and might, there are some different opinions, but the opinion that I agree with is that may in American English is more formal and might is less formal. There are some people that say you use, I think you use might if it's more likely, and you use may if it's less likely, but I don't worry about that because in most day-to-day conversations, we use might in American English and not may. Okay, so emprestar versus pegar emprestado. So emprestar is to lend, and we can also use to loan. To loan. So a loan is empréstimo. To loan is the same as to lend, emprestar. To borrow is pegar emprestado. And I can use, in most situations, I can use either one. It depends on the focus. So if I focus on the emprestador, the thing that is lending or loaning, then I say the bank loans money. The bank loans money. The chef who is going to start a restaurant borrows money. So the chef borrows money, the bank lends money. O banco empresta dinheiro. O chefe que vai iniciar ou vai começar restaurante pega dinheiro emprestado. He borrows money. Bless you, Beto. Okay, so to lend and to borrow. And we can also say the bank lends money to the chef. The bank lends money to the chef. Or the chef borrows money from the bank. The chef borrows money from the bank. So we can use either one. We can either use to lend or to borrow in most situations. It depends on the focus. Is the focus the bank, or is the focus the person or entity or thing that is borrowing? And in this case, if we start with the bank, then it's going to be the bank lends. If we start with the chef in this case, then the chef borrows. So let's start with lend. The bank will lend the chef money, or the bank is going to lend the chef money. And if we have the chef as the subject, the chef will borrow money. And you can say the chef will borrow money if you want from the bank. But if focus is just on him borrowing money, then the chef will borrow money, because the chef is the focus. Okay. Any questions there on borrow and lend? So to order and in order to. To order is fazer pedido. And so we have to ask for is a verb for pedir. And we have to order, which is pedir, but fazer pedido. In other words, if you are at a restaurant and you order food, that is order. If you have a friend, I have a sister-in-law who sells Mary Kay. You can make an order from her. So if you have a catalog, if you are going to order something out of a catalog, then that you also use order. And then she also makes an order from Mary Kay. So if you're at a restaurant, or if you have a catalog, if you order something online. So the key with order instead of ask for is that when you order something, usually you're going to pay for it, or there's going to be some kind of exchange of services, or you're going to pay for it, or something like that. Where if I go to a friend's house and I would, for example, if I were to say I would like to order water, I wouldn't say that at a friend's house. It could actually be considered rude if I say I would like to order water, because it's not a service. So it would be I would like to ask for water, or you could just say I would like water, but just giving an example. Now, in order to is propósito. So it's another way to say in order to is para poder. So I'm going to learn English in order to be able to travel, or in order to travel. I'm going to learn English in order to travel. So eu vou aprender inglês para poder viajar. So that's the difference between the verb to order, which is fazer pedido, and in order to is para poder. So tell me something that you... So tell me, let's go, Vani, tell me why you're learning English using in order to.
I learn English in order to travel.
Okay, that's what I said, but okay. You copied me, but all right, that's fine. Give me something else, Beto. You learn English. If you learn English in order to travel, then create something else so that everybody's not saying the same thing.
To order or in order to?
In order to.
In order to. I traveling. No, I travel in order to know the new world, the new world.
New worlds or new places?
Não, é porque eu não sei falar países.
Countries.
Countries,
Countries.
yes.
Okay, good. So if I say I know Palmas, what does that mean?
No understand.
So if I say I know Palmas, I know Palmas.
I know Palmas.
What does that mean? No G, K-N-E-O-W.
No.
Who can help? If I say I know Palmas, what does that mean?
Eu conheço Palmas.
Yeah, so we want to say that it means eu conheço Palmas, but it means eu conheço bem
Sim, okay.
Palmas, right? So if when you talk about knowing other cities, it means knowing very well instead of visiting. So we can either use so in this case, your sentence would be I travel in order to visit, or or to see, or to go to. So those are the three most common: to visit, to go to, or to see, instead of to know. Good. That's good use of in order to, though. Feliciana, let's use in order to in a sentence.
In order to, I need money in order to buy my, how to say contas?
It depends if you're talking about compras like food, or if you're talking about in general, like clothes and those kinds of things.
Or
If you mean
I
food,
need to money in order to buy a new car.
okay, that works. So if you were to say food, it would be I need money. Not the second time you said I need too money, but not too money. I need money in order to buy groceries. Would be groceries are things that you buy at a supermarket. So you could say groceries in that case. If you're talking about things in general, to buy things, right? Instead of para fazer compras, para comprar coisas. So to buy things, or to buy a good, to buy a car. Another, does anybody know? So we have supermarket is one way to say supermercado. Does anybody know the other way to say supermarket?
Supermarket.
Yeah, there's another way to say supermarket. So we have supermarket. Oops, what happened? We have supermarket, but there's also another way to say supermarket, which is grocery store.
It's the same.
It's the same thing. Yep. Grocery store or supermarket. Now, supermarket usually is bigger, right? Is a big one. Grocery store can be big or small, but supermarket is usually big because super. And then groceries are things we buy at a supermarket or a grocery store. Okay, so my mom never used supermarket. My mom always said grocery store. I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going to buy groceries. Or she said, I'm going grocery shopping. I'm going grocery shopping. My mom liked to use this term a lot. This is what she usually said. I'm going grocery shopping. Or I need to go grocery shopping. Or, so remember, shopping, fazendo compras. So literally, fazendo compras para comprar coisas que você compra no supermercado.
Professor, in order to the same by the way.
Okay, so is the same as, but that is because you're asking, then you're going to start is in order to the same as by the way. What does by the way mean?
Propósito, não? A propósito.
A propósito, right? So here, in order to, now significa propósito, mas é o propósito disso é isso. Então, não é a mesma coisa de a propósito quando você está mudando de assunto, alguma coisa assim. That's a very good question. Okay, so for example, I'm going to go grocery shopping. By the way, I need some money, right? So eu vou fazer compras no supermercado. A propósito, eu preciso de dinheiro, mas não é uma coisa que é o propósito da outra coisa. Okay, very good question.
Okay.
So to order, I want to order French fries. Quero pedir batata frita. What are you going to order for lunch? O que você vai pedir pelo almoço? So if I say, Vani, if I were to say, eu preciso pedir a sua ajuda.
I need pedir. I need to order. No.
No, good.
Your help?
Yeah, exactly. Order your help, daí dá a ideia que essa pessoa faz serviço para você.
Yes.
E também seria estranho. So what, do you remember the other pedir when it's not order?
I need No, I don't
Who can
remember.
help? Who remembers the other pedir that isn't order?
If,
Ask.
ask.
To ask.
To ask for. To ask for is the pedir when you pedir algo de alguém is to ask for. So in that case, how would you say? Eu preciso pedir a sua ajuda.
I need to ask for help.
Or a sua ajuda, your help specifically, right?
For
Your
help.
help. Your help. A sua ajuda.
Your help.
Your help. Mhm. Good. So that's the difference between order and ask for, is that when it's asked for, it's something that that is not a service that generally a service that you pay for.
To ask é perguntar também?
So what's the difference between the way that we say ask, the way that we say perguntar and the way that we say pedir? So, for example, eu preciso fazer uma pergunta. E não é I need to make a question. Isso é alguma coisa... Até a escola de inglês ensina isso, que me dá uma raiva. Como é que nós falamos fazer uma pergunta? Ou perguntar? Alguém sabe? Eu preciso fazer uma pergunta? Ou eu preciso perguntar?
I need ask.
To ask,
To ask for you.
Yeah, so uma pergunta daí, ou fazer uma pergunta, a question. I need to ask a question.
A question.
Or I need, you can also say to ask you a question also works. I need to ask a question if it's just in general, or I need to ask you a question. Preciso te perguntar alguma coisa. So we don't use make a question. I need to make a question. Everybody wants to say, I need to make a question because of Portuguese. Eu preciso fazer uma pergunta. Só que em inglês nós falamos, eu preciso perguntar uma pergunta. Ou literalmente perguntar uma questão. So I need to ask you a question. So how do I say, então, Feliciana, how do I say, eu preciso pedir ajuda?
I need to ask a help.
To ask a help, assim? Not a help.
Help.
Ask for. E essa é a diferença. É a for que faz pedir. Ask for é pedir. Ask é perguntar. E essa é a diferença.
Ok.
E foi uma outra pergunta excelente. So, o que acontece? Se eu falar, I need to ask help, significa que eu estou perguntando algo de alguém, ou pedindo de help. Alguém que se chama help. Right? So, I need to ask Beto. Preciso perguntar o Beto. I need to ask for help from Beto. Eu preciso pedir ajuda do Beto. E até você vai trabalhar num projeto no trabalho e você quer uma pessoa específica trabalhando contigo. Você pode falar, I want to ask for Feliciana. Right? Eu quero pedir a Feliciana. A ideia é fazer parte da equipe ou qualquer coisa assim. Então, eu preciso pedir a Feliciana. Beto?
Essa forma seria uma outra forma de pedir, né? Sem usar o to order.
Exactly. So, o que eu
poderia,
quero...
I need to order help.
I need to order help. Daí, order da ideia que vai ser uma troca de serviço.
É troca de serviço aí?
Yes, order. So, order nós usamos mais em restaurante. Quando você vai... Se tiver um amigo que vende de catálogo, como a minha cunhada, que vende de Mary Kay. Era uma vez, era Hinode, era, right, que pedia de catálogo, alguma coisa assim. Ou se for, qual foi? Oh, online. So, você For example, I need to order headphones from Amazon. So we use order in that case too, because I'm going to make the pedido, I'm going to make the order, and then they're going to send it to me and I'm going to pay. So it's a troca de serviço. And that's the main difference between order and ask for. So if I'm talking to a friend, I'm not going to say I need to order your help. It's I need to ask for your help. Okay, good question. So I run every day in order to be healthy. I run every day in order to be healthy. Why do you do that? What for? So what for is an expression para quê? Very commonly used in the United States. So for example, if someone says, go into the other room, vá para outra sala. What for? It's the same thing as saying why. Em vez de falar por quê, você pode falar para quê? What for? And then the answer, in order to do something. So notice in most cases, in order to is not exactly necessary, because I can say I run every day to be healthy, right? It means the same thing. I run every day to be healthy means the same thing as I run every day in order to be healthy. It's just a little bit more formal, a little bit, it's more aesthetically pleasing. You know, it sounds a little bit better. In order to, it sounds, it's just a nicer way to say it. It sounds better. So for example, you study English. Why do you do that? In order to travel, or in order to see new places, visit new places. Okay, so it could, another way to think of in order to is the reason is to see new places. The reason is to travel. Beto.
Nessa forma, então, eu poderia falar, I save money in order to build a new house.
Perfect. Yep. Exactly. Very nice. Is that true? Beto, is that true?
Yes.
Nice. Very good. Someday I want to I don't want to build because my mom and my stepdad almost divorced because of building a house, and I have friends that almost divorced from building a house because of the stress. But I do want to buy a new house, so someday we'll see. Okay, so colega, we have many different meanings of colega, but we're going to talk about first about colega as someone with whom we work, someone we work with. So colega we use to say colega, ele é meu colega. So we use co-worker when it's dia a dia. So someone I work with every day or almost every day. They are my co-worker. Colleague is when they have the same job, mesmo cargo. He is my colleague. So let me give you some examples. At the school, I work at the school, and I have some coworkers at the school. The secretary is my coworker. My wife is my coworker, even though she's my boss, but she's my coworker. The woman who cleans the school is my coworker. The teachers are also my coworkers, and the gardener, jardineiro, the gardener is also my coworker. Okay, so they're all my coworkers, but the teachers are my coworkers. The teachers at the school are my coworkers and my colleagues because they have the same function. They have the same job. Teachers in the United States are also my colleagues, but they're not my coworkers because I don't work with them every day or almost every day. But they have the same function, the same job, and so they are my colleagues. Okay, any questions about that? So give me an example, Vani, give me an example of someone who, so first tell us what you do, and then tell us someone who is a coworker and a colleague.
I work in my house.
Okay.
I do homework, home office.
Okay, so I work in a home office. Yeah,
I
because
work in home office.
yeah. Okay.
And no have coworkers.
Okay. So how would you say? Eu não tenho?
I don't have coworkers.
Coworkers. Good. Okay, I don't have coworkers. What do you do in for your home office?
Como é que eu falo? Como é que eu falo? Eu sou representante comercial, represento várias empresas.
Okay, so I'm a commercial representative or a business representative, or it also depends on what exactly.
Todas essas marcas aqui que estão atrás de mim.
Look at that. And you don't need anyone. Não precisa de ninguém. All right. All right.
It's true. I need.
But I don't have.
But I don't have.
That's awesome. I should have, right? So we can use should. Eu deveria
Yes.
ter. I should have
I
someone.
should have.
But I don't have
But
anyone.
I don't have.
All right. Very good. Okay. So difference between coworker and colleague. So another example I like to use, I have a friend who, Dr. Miguel Avila, who is a dermatologist, and he has a clinic. So at the clinic, he has a dietitian, he has, I'm not even sure, esthetician, I think is what it would be called. He has a secretary. He has, what else does he have? And I think it's just him, but if he had another doctor, let's say he has those 4 people. So they would all be his coworkers, the secretary, the dietitian, everybody would be his coworkers, but only the doctor would be his colleague. And doctors in China, doctors in India, doctors in Argentina are also his colleagues because they have the same function. So let's switch gears and go to advérbios de frequência. So the 2 that are extremes are always and never. Okay, so those are the 2 extremes. I always say it's usually not good to talk in the 2 extremes, right? If especially with your partner, if you say you never do that, right? Well, it's probably not true that they never do something, or you always say that. Você sempre diz isso, right? So the 2 extremes, usually it's good to avoid always and never. Now, we have I've seen before 8 different adverbs of frequency, but really we only need 4. There are other ones we can put in to be more exact, but if we remember these 4, we're probably good. Okay, so here the 4 in red, let's see how many are there really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 commonly used adverbs of frequency, but if you remember these 4, you're probably good. Okay, you only really need 4. You can use these other ones, but you only need 4. So we have, let's start with always, sempre, often, and often and frequently can be translated as frequentemente. But para as pessoas que gostam de medida exata, often, o que eu achei, as fontes dizem que often é pouquinho mais frequente do que frequentemente. Mas é por isso que eu falo. Mas os dois são quase a mesma coisa de geralmente, usualmente, que é usually. Então, não precisa de often or frequently. You can use just usually. Porém, muitos nativos usam often. Often, eles frequentemente usam often. Sometimes, às vezes. Occasionally, de vez em quando. Seldom. Seldom seria como raramente, como rarely também. Hardly ever é quase nunca. Rarely, raramente, e never, nunca. So, like I said, always, usually, sometimes e never. Se decorar esses quatro, tá bem. Always, usually, sometimes, never. Se quiser acrescentar, se já estiver bem com esses quatro e quer acrescentar alguma coisa, basicamente, das minhas pesquisas e do meu uso, do que eu uso no dia a dia, eu coloco assim esses outros em ordem de frequência, de sempre para nunca e daí entre esses dois. Agora, a pergunta que muitas vezes vem é ever. O que significa ever? What many Brazilians try and translate ever as para sempre, ou sempre, só sempre. But remember, ever is a word that we use in questions like, have you ever been to Rio? Have you ever been to Rio? Você já uma vez na sua vida foi para o Rio? So ever is not sempre. Forever is para sempre. Tem tantas músicas.
Então seria algumas vezes?
Alguma
Poderia
vez.
ser
Eu diria
alguma
alguma
vez.
vez. Alguma vez. Porque pode ser só uma vez. Se eu perguntar com present perfect. Have you ever eaten squid? Have you ever eaten squid? O que é squid? Alguém sabe? Lula. Have you ever eaten squid? And I love Lula. I remember we went to Porto de Galinhas and we had a seafood platter with squid, lula, octopus. Sometimes. It depends. Like everything, it depends on how it's cooked, right? If someone knows how to cook squid or octopus or those things, then it can be very good. So, have you ever eaten squid? Você já alguma vez comeu lula?
Squid is very delicious in paella.
Yes, paella is fantastic. I'm gonna love you forever. There are so many songs, so many love songs with forever. So forever, para sempre. Não necessariamente sempre. So, por exemplo, você não pode falar eu estou sempre com fome. Não dá para dizer I am forever hungry. I am forever hungry. Isso significa que eu estou com fome para sempre, e não só sempre. Always que é sempre, forever que é para sempre. So I'm gonna love you forever. Eu vou te amar para sempre. Meu Deus, se você fosse colocar todas as músicas love songs com forever, você ia até acabar a tinta da sua caneta, porque tem quase todas as músicas love songs têm forever. So ever is not sempre. Forever is not sempre, is para sempre. So when we want to ask com que frequência ou quão frequente, we ask how often. How often? So for example, if I ask Feliciana, how often do you travel? How often do you travel?
I usually travel twice for years.
Twice?
For a long
Yeah, so
tour. Long
Yeah,
term.
either twice a year or twice per year. Usually more common
Twice.
would be twice a
Twice,
year.
twice for a year.
No,
year.
not four, either twice a year or twice per year. And the most
Okay.
common one is twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yep. So for example, if you say, I go to the market, the open air market, or the street fair, I go to the street fair twice a month, right? So if it's duas vezes por mês, you can say twice a month, duas vezes por semana, twice a week. If someone says, I exercise 3 times a week, três vezes por semana, or I go to the doctor twice a year, or whatever it might be. So, good. Vani, how often do you, let's see, how often do you talk with a new company? How often do you talk to a new company?
New company, uma nova empresa?
Uh-huh. So you work with those companies behind you, but how often do you talk to a new company?
I talk a new company about 4 times a day.
4 times a day. Okay. And then, so remember, with talk, you need either to or with. So I talk to a new company or I talk with a new company. We need a preposition there. Okay. Beto, let's see. How often do you take your kids to eat out? How often do you take your kids to eat out?
I take a kids frequently.
Frequently, okay. And not I take a kids, right? A kid would be qualquer criança, mas você leva os seus, né?
Yes.
So I take my kids instead
My
of
kids.
yeah. Take my kids. Mas pode ser generoso e levar os filhos dos outros também, não tem problema. Right? I take some kids, eu vou lá na rua achar algumas piá para
Eu não estou dando conta dos meus, ainda mais dos outros.
Okay, so every day, right? Ou como dizia meu aluno gaúcho, bem italiano, com um dos sotaques mais fortes que eu já ouvi, ele falava every day. So, eu dava aula na Wizard lá em 2000, na Serra Gaúcha, e não sei hoje, mas na metodologia Wizard era aquela coisa, I eat bread every day. Ele falava, I drink tea every day. Mas eu tenho tanto respeito por ele, porque ele começou limpando o chão da fábrica. Daí, quando veio para fazer inglês comigo, ele já era gerente. Já nada, né? Provavelmente foram 20 anos entre as duas coisas, mas aquele cara que consegue por conseguir, por ralar mesmo. So, every day, every week, todas as semanas, every month, todos os meses, every year, todos os anos. Agora, tem once, so, não sei, alguém conhece o Lionel Richie? Once, twice, 3 times a lady, right? So, ele canta assim, once, twice, 3 times. Once, uma vez, ou você pode falar one time, twice. Eu sempre, antes eu ensinava once é muito melhor do que one time, twice muito melhor do que 2 times, mas aí em séries e coisas eu comecei a ouvir um pouco mais. Então, once é mais comum, mas não é errado falar one time. Twice é mais comum do que 2 times, mas pode. Daí, acima disso é 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Aí só vai o número e times. So, once a day, uma vez por dia, twice a day, 2 vezes por dia, 3 times a day, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, month, and year. So, if you, for example, Vani talks to new companies 4 times a day. 4 times a day. And again, you can use a day a week, a month, a year, or per day, per week, per month, per year. Just like when we talk about gas, right? Gas costs $4 per gallon. So when we have those kinds of measurements, medidas, those kinds of measurements, we can use per. Now, when we talk about advérbios de modo, or ly adverbs. So esses são os mentes. Os mentes. Slowly, lentamente, vagarosamente, quietly, quietamente, nicely, jeito de fazer de simpatia, ou gentilmente. Yes, nicely seria gentilmente. So the majority of advérbios de modo have ly. Okay, so if you hear ly, you know it's an adverb in most cases. Quickly, rapidamente. Loudly, barulhentemente, ou com barulho. And then we have two of the irregulars. So, for example, hard, duro ou difícil, mas se você falar eu trabalho muito, eu trabalho de jeito, sabe? Eu trabalho muito, nós podemos falar I work hard. I work hard. Que daí, se você colocar hard como difícil, daí fica estranho. E hardly significa quase nada. So if you say I work hardly or I hardly work, eu quase nunca trabalho, eu quase não trabalho. Mas I work hard, eu trabalho arduamente. So hard como advérbio, eu diria que é arduamente. Eu trabalho arduamente. I work hard. She works hard. And good then becomes well, just like when we talk about ele joga bem, he plays well. Ele canta bem, he sings well. So the adverb well for good and also for well, right? So also another one, quickly, rapidamente, quickly, slowly, lentamente, quietly, de jeito não barulhento, loudly, de jeito barulhento, nicely, gentilmente. Okay. That's all, folks. So let's correct lesson 39. I will open it here. At least let's start the correction. Any questions on things we talked about in lesson 39? Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go. Oh, I know where it is. It's over here. All righty. Joe, how's it going?
Hi, teacher.
How are you?
Fine, good.
On my screen, it shows me 3 people. So it showed me Feliciana, Beto, and Vani. I forgot you were here. Because the Zoom didn't show me. Okay, 30, 37. Okay, here we go. Let's start with Joe, number 1.
Hey, where are you going? Oi, onde você está indo?
Ok,
Você vai?
onde você vai, onde você está indo, ok? Dependendo da situação, good. E hey, gostei como você falou, que é assim que nós falamos. Hey! Very good. Bunny, 2.
Eu vou para Seattle amanhã. Você gostaria de ir comigo? I'm going to Seattle tomorrow. Would you like to go with me?
Good. Just one little thing, pronunciation. People from Seattle say Seattle.
Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah. Quase
Seattle.
como chorou. Seattle. Seattle.
Seattle.
Good. Very good. Beto.
3. Do you like to travel? Você gosta de viajar?
Você gosta de viajar? Feliciana? Not 14, just 4. Looks like 14.
É que o 1 aí é do I love.
Yeah, do I? Yeah.
4 or 5?
Uh-huh. 4, please.
Love traveling to New York. It is a beautiful city on the East Coast. Eu gosto de viajar para Nova York. É uma linda cidade na costa oeste.
Okay, close. What does I like mean?
Like me.
I like. What does I like mean?
Eu gosto.
Eu gosto. What does I love mean?
Adoraria, adoro.
Adoro. Adoro ou amo. Yep. So, eu adoro viajar para Nova York. Because remember, so I like is here, I love is, stronger. Like if you say to your partner, I like you, it's one thing. If you say I love you, it means more, right? Joe.
Você quer que eu compre alguma coisa para você em Miami? Do you want that I buy something for you in Miami?
Miami? Uh-huh. Close. In this case, when we have want, need, like, all of these, we don't use that. So this is a case where we cut out que. So in English, do you want me to, instead of do you want that I? Okay, so do you want me to buy something for you in Miami?
Então ficou, do you want me?
To buy.
Do you want me to buy something for you in Miami?
Exactly. So the verbs that have, almost all of the verbs that have que, quer que, você gosta que, você precisa de, ou precisa que eu faça alguma coisa, or whatever, those we're going to cut out that. Do you want me to? Do you need me to? Usually, would you like me to? We usually, em vez de falar do you like me to, nós geralmente falamos would you like me to? Vani?
Do you want to stay home? Você quer ficar em casa?
Mm-hmm. And how would you say, você quer que eu fique em casa?
Que eu fique. Do you want? Do you want me stay home?
Do you, close, very, very close. Do you want me to stay home?
To stay home.
Exactly. So what can we see? We have this conjugation, quer que eu compre, quer que eu fique. So in Portuguese, for someone learning Portuguese, you have to memorize these conjugations that we don't have in English, right? In English, we say, você quer que eu compro? Você quer que eu fico? Because we don't have that extra conjugation like you do in Portuguese. And this is an example of how verbs are easier in English, because we don't have quer que eu fique, ou aquele onde eu for, ou aquela conjugação que eu só me lembro porque eu escutei os Paralamas do Sucesso 1 milhão de vezes, onde quer que eu vá. Right? Eu só sei dessa conjugação por causa daquela música, onde quer que eu vá, ou eu ia dizer onde quer que eu for. So yeah, they're for us, they seem like conjugations that are unnecessary, because se você falar, você quer que eu compro, dá para entender, né? And in English, that's how we say it. Okay. Beto.
7. Eu não tenho dinheiro para viajar para Las Vegas. I don't have money to travel to Las Vegas.
Very good. Feliciana.
But shine. Why are you going to stay home? Que pena. Que pena, shine.
Que pena.
Por que você vai ficar em casa?
And what's the pronunciation of this word?
Shine.
Shame. Shame. What a shame. Alguém
What a
assistiu Game of Thrones? Alguém assistiu Game of Thrones? Não? Havia uma parte onde tem esses religiosos radicais e eles pegam a pessoa e andam na cidade inteira com um sino falando shame, shame. So shame, normalmente se for shame sozinho, é vergonha. Shame. Mas what a shame, daí, por causa que é uma expressão, aquela coisa que muitas vezes expressões não caem exatamente. What a shame significa que pena. Alguém se lembra os outros dois jeitos que nós podemos falar que pena?
Sorry.
Como foi?
Sorry.
Sorry, sinto muito. Mas tem situações onde você pode usar I'm sorry, mas o sentido é mais sinto muito do que pena. Tem that's too bad, que é o mais comum. That's too bad. And what a pity. What a pity é outro também que é usado. Joe.
Eu prefiro viajar para o parque Yellowstone. I prefer travel to on the park Yellowstone.
Okay, so para is just to. So travel to. Now remember, eu prefiro is like, if I say eu quero viajar para o parque Yellowstone, como é que fica?
I need.
No, eu quero.
I need.
I need, eu preciso.
I want,
okay.
I want to travel to
I
parque.
want to travel, right? So todos os verbos fracos vão ser I need to travel, I want to travel, I like to travel, I prefer to travel instead of I prefer travel. I prefer to travel.
I prefer to travel to Parque Yellowstone.
Yellowstone Park.
Yellowstone
Remember,
Park.
name first and then
Yes.
and now. Vani.
I will work during my vacation. Eu trabalharei durante minhas férias.
Que é o que eu fiz. Mais alguém? Vani também? Foi? É. Que férias, gente? Nem sei o que significa. Foram 5 dias em maio quando nós fomos para o Morro de São Paulo, mas além disso, fiquei trabalhando o tempo inteiro. All right, thank you very much.
Eu sempre trabalho nas minhas férias.
Yes, porque as férias agora
São constantes.
Qualquer trabalho que faz, trabalha durante as férias. Gostei. All right, have a good weekend.